Hello friends, in this session we will talk about various methods for comparison of fractions. Obviously you would understand that in a DI, good part of answering question, it revolves around comparison of fractions, and there an understanding of various shortcuts for comparing fractions, it will be immensely useful. Okay, so as you can see, there are n number of ways of comparing fractions, and there can be no single ubiquitous method that we can use everywhere. So what we are going to do is we are going to look at each of them one by one. First one, very simple. If the numerator is the same and the denominator is different, let us say I have to compare 2 upon 5 and 2 upon 7. If I have to compare 2 upon 5 and 2 upon 7, when for whichever number the numerator is small, the denominator is smaller, that number will be higher. So if the denominator is 5, it is smaller than 7, this number will be greater than this. So similarly, let us see if I have to compare 3 upon 4, 3 upon 7, 3 upon 11, 3 upon 13. Out of these 4 numbers, whichever number will have the least denominator, that will be the highest. So over here 3 upon 4 will be the highest number. So that's a very simple thing, same numerator. Similarly, numbers have the same denominator. Let us say I'm looking at the denominator is 7, 9 by 7, 11 by 7, 13 by 7, 15 by 7. In this case, if the denominator is the same, then whichever number will have the highest numerator, that will be the highest. So here the highest numerator is 15 upon 7, so this will be the highest. This is again pretty obvious, there is really no need to explain in this. So let us say I have to compare 17 upon 11 with 16 upon 13. If I have to compare 17 upon 11 with 16 upon 13, what I understand is 11 to 13 and 17 to 16. In the case of 16 upon 13, the numerator is lower and the denominator is higher. If the numerator is lower, the denominator is higher, then automatically the number would be smaller. So this number will be smaller, this number will be greater. So if I am comparing numbers, whichever number will have the highest numerator as well as the least denominator, that will be the highest. Same increase in the numerator and denominator. There can be two possibilities. Let us say a fraction is of the form a upon b. In this, if a is less than b, and the second case when a is greater than b. If a is less than b, let us say we have to compare 2 upon 3, 3 upon 4, 4 upon 5, 5 upon 6, 6 upon 7, 7 upon 8, 8 upon 9. Let's look at these. 2 upon 3 is 0.67, 3 upon 4 is 0.75, 4 upon 5 is 0.80, 5 upon 6 is 0.84. 6 upon 7 is 0.86, 7 upon 8 is 0.87, 8 upon 9 is 0.89. So as you can see, as the number is increased, as the if I am adding k to both numerator and denominator, then the value is gradually trending towards 1. The idea here is that 2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Similarly, plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 and plus 1. If both numerator and denominator are increased by the same quantity, if both numerator and denominator are increased by the same quantity, let's say k, then if a is less than b, then a plus k upon b plus k is greater than a upon b. On the other hand, if a is greater than b, then a plus k upon b plus k is less than a upon b. So here, because as we see that a is less than b, therefore as it increases the value will tend towards 1. So therefore a plus k upon b plus k is greater than a upon b. So in this whole sequence, the greatest number is 8 upon 9. 8 upon 9 will have the highest value. On the other hand, if I was looking at the reverse of this case, where the numbers were initially greater than 1, then the last number would have been the least and the first number would have been the highest. Sometimes it is more convenient to divide the denominator by the numerator rather than trying to divide the numerator by the denominator. Let us say I have to compare 11 upon 131 and 13 upon 157. Now, which of these two numbers will be greater? It will be very difficult for us to divide the numerator by the denominator, because dividing 11 by 131 will be very difficult. Therefore, what we do is we divide the denominator by the numerator. If I divide the denominator by the numerator, what I will get is 1 upon 11 131. So 11 1 is 11, 2 21, that is approximately 2, so that's 1.2. So I'm sorry, this is 12 point something. So this will be 12 point something. On the other hand, if I observe here, this will be 1 upon 13 1 is 13, 13 2 is 26, 12 point something. I am now confused which one will be greater. What you need to understand here is 11 1 is 11, 11 2 is 22. This was slightly less than 12 point something, whereas 13 1 is 13, 13 2 is 26. This is slightly more than 12 point something. I hope the point is clear. 131 divided by 11, 11 1 is 11, 21. When I do 11 2 is 22, what remains is a minus 1. Whereas in this case, 157 divided by 13, 13 1 is 13, 27, 13 2 is 26, what remains is a plus 1. So therefore, this is 12 point something, this is 12 point something minus. So therefore, between the two, this point is clear. Once we are clear on this, then we ask ourselves which of these two numbers will be greater. As we discussed earlier, if the numerator is the same, whichever number will have a lower denominator, that number will be greater. So therefore, because this number has a lower denominator, this number will be greater. So 11 upon 131 is greater than 13 upon 157. Next, let's talk about cross multiplication. Let us say I have to compare 12 upon 17 with 13 upon 19. For comparing 12 upon 17 with 13 upon 19, what we can do is we can very simply cross multiply these numbers. If I cross multiply, I will get 12 into 19 on this side and 17 into 13 on this side. Now 12 into 19 is 19 2 is 36, remainder is 3, 19 plus 3 is 22. 17 to 13 is 225, 225 minus 4, so this is 221. 226 is greater than 221, so therefore the first number is greater than the second number. This is very simply cross multiplication of the two numbers. Okay, so the last method, percentage increase in numerator and denominator. The idea would be, let us say I have to compare 535 upon 426 with 589 upon 462. What we will do is 535 to 589. 535 to 589, 535 10% would be 53.5, 535 plus 53 will be 589, so this is slightly above 10%. Whereas if I look at the denominator, 426 to 462, the difference is of 32, 32 plus 4, 36. If the difference is of 36, this increase is less than 10%. If the numerator is increasing by a larger quantity, the denominator is increasing by a smaller quantity, then the second number will be greater than the first number. So here second number is greater than the second number, first number, sorry. Second example, 827 upon 1742 is to be compared with 1103 upon 2439. From 827 to 1103, 827 to 1103, the difference is of 13 minus 7 is 6, 10 minus 3 is 7, and this becomes 11 minus 9 is 276. 276 will be approximately 1/3 of 827. So this is increasing by 33, 1/3%. Whereas if I look at the denominator, from 1742 to 2439, the increase is of 7, 9 to 9 minus 2 is 7, 13 minus 4 is 9, this becomes 8, 24 minus 18 is 6, I am sorry. This is 697, 697 is approximately 700, 7 upon 17 is 40%. So this is increasing by 40%. If the denominator is increasing by a larger quantity, numerator is increasing by a smaller quantity, then the first number will be greater than the second number. So in this case, the first number will be greater than the second number. The idea is very, very simple. If a numerator is increasing by a larger quantity, then the second number is larger. If the denominator is increasing by a larger quantity, then the first number is greater.